Hey guys, welcome to another week of WoW Weekly with Myst. For this week's events, we have Dark Moon Fair is running. It will continue until May 7th. We also have Children's Week, and that one will run till May 9th. And the weekly is going to be Time Walking. Burning Crusade is going to be the time walking version. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while. I'll tell you why. Those that watch my streams, you might remember I was farming the Warglaives on my Demon Hunter. For this, you do not have to do it on the Demon Hunter, but the reason I chose that character is because it's faster. There's actually a skip there, and yeah, it's it's not required that you do it on the Demon Hunter, but I personally think it's just better if you do. So basically, the deal with that achievement is that once you acquire the Warglaives, then when Time Walking BC rolls back around, the raid will be there, right? So the Black Temple raid, you can go on any character at that point, and you just join the raid, and you go and kill Illidan, and that unlocks another achievement. It's called I'll Hold These For You Until You Get Out, and that rewards you with the Arsenal Warglaives of Azeroth, which is the transmog. And so this transmog is a Demon Hunter only, which is why most people do this. It's a very specific transmog for the Demon Hunters. That's what I've been waiting for a while, so definitely gonna be some WoW gameplay going on this week for sure. And also I'll be running the dungeons, so whenever Time Walking rolls around, those are my mount runs for that week. I swapped the mount runs to the Infinite Time Reaver. And then as always, there's always a PvP brawl, and this week's PvP brawl will be Shadowpen Showdown. Okay, so one thing we learned this past week is the name of the Season 4 effects. So we don't know too much about it, but we do have a name now, and the name is Disguised. The Covenant Sanctum feature achievements, those are the ones that are like your challenges and stuff for the specific ones. They're now visible and count towards your character's total achievement points, regardless of which covenant your character belongs to. This is a good change. I did notice that you only see them if you're on the character that belongs to that covenant. So it'll be nice now to just see all those achievements on whatever character you're currently on. Reward boxes from callings are now going to contain twice as many grateful offerings. That is pretty crazy because I thought we got a lot to begin with. And the Zereth Mortis, a weekly Patterns Within Patterns, now also awards grateful offerings. Personally, since there's so many different ways you can get grateful offerings now, callings, and there's still those dailies you can do, but overall, you could just skip the dailies entirely. You get enough from the callings. But because of that, I think Patterns Within Patterns should offer the Genesis motes. That is your major farm out there. You do need a huge chunk of it to make all the mounts and the pets. And yeah, it just would make so much more sense. And if we're gonna increase stuff here, could we get an increase on the fucking Necro Egg? I have been doing those world quests like crazy, and I still don't even have one single egg. Like, RNG sucks sometimes. So yeah, if we could get an increase on that, although I imagine that wouldn't happen till the end of the expansion, because there is one thing we can kind of compare these to, and that would be the Isle of Giants eggs. the one in Myst area, they were kind of a bad drop rate. Not as bad as these necro eggs were, but they were bad. And then before you knew it, every kill you were getting an egg. I've gotten so many. Like, the drop rate is so fucking easy now. So we probably would need the expansion to actually end before they increase that one. But yeah, it's kind of like the Legion eggs too. They're a little more frequent now than they were in Legion. So there's going to be 3 new achievements having to do with raids in Season 4. So the first one is Fates of the Shadowlands raids. So you complete all 3 fated raids in Shadowlands 4, or Shadowlands Season 4. That is going to reward you a mount, which is going to be Jigglesworth. Okay, so all we have is an icon right now. So we really don't know much on this mount, but we can take a pretty damn good guess. So for those that follow with WoW, you'll remember before Shadowlands, there was 5 concept art mounts. We were voting on which one to win. Wandering Ancient won. So here's the list of all 5. Wandering Ancient we have. So check. Soaring Spell Tomb we now have. Check. And that one is part of the Mage Tower. Nerubian Swarmer still waiting on. Curious Caterpillar we're still waiting on. But Gooey Slime Saber could be what this mount looks like. So Jigglesworth could look like this right here. And so this was just some concept art, so it may change. But my guess is it's gonna look very much like this. There is an achievement in the game that you can do involving the cats. They look like this. So yeah, chances are the mount is going to be very similar to that. Which, on that note, just leaves us with 2 mounts. I always did say in the beginning, before Shadowlands launched, that we would more than likely get all of these mounts. They wouldn't just do up some concept art for mounts and then not release them, right? So I definitely do think that we are going to get these, and I think I kind of have a time frame for it as well. The Nerubian Swarmer, kind of, you can see there's a lot of Lich King talk. We've got Classic Wrath coming out fairly soon. So I won't say fairly soon, but this year, which is soon, right? So this year, so I would say before the year even ends, we're going to see Nerubian Swarmer. Maybe they'll do like a little retail event for it releasing back in Classic. And that is how we'll get that. And then the Curious Caterpillar has to do with the Valley of the Four Winds. I'm not totally sure on that one. That one could be a store mount. Yeah, because I always did suspect that one of these would be a store mount. So yeah, a little off topic there, but that is more or less what that mount is going to look like, and that does knock 3 out of 5 out of the list. And I do believe that they're gonna polish this all off before Shadowlands ends, because the intention was that they were all Shadowlands mounts. So yeah, and they could easily do that because like Classic Wrath will release before Dragonflight for sure. And then, worst case scenario, you just throw that fucking last one on the shop and boom, done. Okay, so the second achievement is going to be the Heroic Fates of the Shadowlands raids. So that's to complete all 3 fated raids on Heroic in Season 4. And you're going to get a title. It's called Hero of Fate. And then the third achievement is Mythic Fates of the Shadowlands raids. complete all 3 Fated Raids on Mythic, and that will get you the Shadowlands raid teleports. And those teleports would be, of course, to Castle Nothria, Sanctum of Domination, and Sepultura, the first ones. And it looks like it'll be a spell that you will get called Hero's Path. I am seeing some cooldowns on these, so you will want to use them wisely because it is showing an 8-hour cooldown on the casts, and my guess is they are probably connected, which means that if you use one, the cooldown is probably on all of them at that point. But realistically, how many people run more than one raid in 8 hours, right? Like current raid. Okay, so basically this is not saying that Masterloot is coming back, but it is saying that it is a goal. They do want to bring it back. So definitely, I don't know if we'd see it in this next expansion, but maybe later. I was kind of yay and nay for Masterloot. The thing is, there's pros and cons. If you are part of a raiding guild, Masterloot is a good option for you. But if you are a person that pugs out your raids, Masterloot is bad. Masterloot honestly got toxic with people, not handing out gear. If you're, say, joining a raid group that is almost a full guild raid and they're just bringing in a couple of pugs, you're not going to get any loot with Masterlooter. They are going to give it to their guild members, right? For obvious reasons, That's where I kind of have enjoyed the personal. What I think they should do is keep both, bring back Masterloot, but keep personal and make it a drop-down menu where you can choose. If you're going to be part of a raid where you don't really know those people, then maybe you don't raid with them unless it's set to personal. That's kind of how I am. I only joined raids for the Masterloot when I knew them, and other than that, I raid led those groups. Like if I didn't know them and I wasn't raid leader, I became raid leader. Like I have no trust when it comes to people and having that kind of control over a whole entire group. So yeah, that's kind of what it came down to. And I'm sure I'm not the only person with that like learned how to lead a raid just so that they could be confident in knowing that they're not going to get ripped of gear. Those were back in the times where there was point systems too. I remember that where, your attendance and everything was like part of a point system. And the more points you had, the more likeliness you got gear. And yeah, it was a weird system. But it made sense, I guess. All in all, I wouldn't be pissed if they brought it back, but I would be a little upset if that meant removing personal. I think they should just have both as an option. We also found out a little more info regarding the flying. So Ian said that at launch in the first or second zone, you'll gain the trust of a dragon companion and you'll be able to call it in the Dragon Isles. So I guess that kind of is equivalent to the whistle, maybe? Honestly, I kind of figured that was the way, like, all these people that thought we were just flying right at the beginning, like, just because we're getting a dragon doesn't mean we technically can fly, like, yeah, that's a training your dragon scenario, and I personally think we'll get flight around the same time we always do in expansions. It's just like in Shadowlands, they said we were gonna get flight earlier. We didn't. It wasn't really earlier. It took a while for that patch to even come around. And then they were like, oh, no Pathfinder. Well, in a sense, we did still have a Pathfinder, because to me, a Pathfinder is when you have to do a bunch of things to obtain that flying. I fully expect that flight will be, probably a year in, is my guess. And there'll definitely be some achievements, and I almost guarantee you they're going to have to do with the dragon flying. Maybe fully developed your dragonflight, along with some other exploration type achievements. If all you care about is flying and you don't care how you're flying, then yeah, you'd have it right away, because there'd be dragonflight, right? The full-fledged flying is for you to have a choice of what mount you want to use, and yeah. One other interview, because there's been tons. I've actually been kind of laughing at how many interviews there's been, because there's definitely been way more hyped up expansions. So for an expansion that seems kind of mediocre, I'm kind of amazed in how many interviews have been going on for it. Hopefully they do something really amazing with this expansion to warrant all the hype they're doing, because they're making the community think that they care about the community, and I don't quite believe that yet, but maybe they can prove it through the Dragonflight expansion that they are listening. It seems like a lot this time around, but it was a good chunk last expansion too, and Shadowlands sucked, so yeah. I feel like the more interviews they do, the worse the expansion actually is. But we can hold on to hope. And anyway, so there was another interview that wasn't video related. It was actually like a little Twitter podcast. It was on something called Twitter Space, which I'd never even fucking heard of. I still am not totally sure what Twitter Space is, other than the fact that you can do a podcast on it, I guess. I don't know. It's funny, I'm on Twitter, but I have no idea. This interview was the first time I knew of Twitter Space. So anyway, there was TNE kind of hosted the thing. Well, I didn't hear Evatel's voice in there, but Taliesin, or however you say his name, he hosted it. And one of his questions was, is there going to be a mission table in Dragonflight? And Ian's response was that there's not currently a plan for a mission table. Now, I know a lot of people don't care for the mission tables, but I found this one a little upsetting. I have grown to really like the mission tables. Like I said, I know a lot of people either don't use it at all, or they think it's a waste. WoD, I felt like it was useful. There were achievements tied to the mission board. And I guess there were achievements tied to it for every expansion. But in Legion is when I started kind of enjoying it more, because pet tokens. I've pretty much been doing my entire farm. All the pet items I've gotten off that board. In WoD, you could get a mount off of there. And in Shadowlands right now, there was 4 mounts and 4 pets you could get through the mission board. So I personally like it, and it's easy. It's super easy. It takes nothing per day, and you could go a month and not touch your board and still be okay. Not to mention that you could do it outside of the game. You could just do the board on your phone through the companion app. So I'm a little well, I don't know if upset is the word, but I'm a little disappointed that there's no plan for the mission boards, because I wouldn't use it for gold, but I did get thousands of pet items off of it. Plus, like I said, mounts and pets were on there. But yeah, I have bought so many pets due to getting all those pet items off of the mission boards. That will definitely slow down the pet farm, and I'll have to go back to doing it like the original way by battling pets, because I really don't farm it that way. I just do missions, and they just come in for free. Pretty much. I'll do like the oddball world quest here and there, but I definitely was racking up way more on the mission board. That is unfortunate. It's, it's good for gold making, so I imagine gold makers are going to be a little upset about this. There's a new Warcraft game that's going to be on mobile. They've actually been working on a couple, but this one specifically is a Warcraft mobile game reveal. So this is going to happen on Tuesday, and it will happen at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and you can watch it at reveal.blizzard.com. As for my prediction of what it could possibly be that they reveal on Tuesday, I definitely don't think it's what most of you guys are hoping for. I know most people are hoping it's pet battles. And I just don't think it is that for two reasons. One, I think pet battles, I feel like if they were going to do pet battles, they would just add it on the WoW companion app. And I feel that even more now that we know that they've got no current plans for the mission table. So basically with that said, we'll probably see a removal of the mission table on the companion app, which means they could maybe put pet battles over there. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't think pet battles is going to be its own game because it's in WoW, right? And anything that's on mobile that exists in WoW goes on the WoW companion app. So I really believe that's where we're going to see pet battles. So as far as a mobile game goes, they are calling it like a Warcraft mobile game. So I definitely think we're going back before World of Warcraft, maybe Warcraft 3 days. I do think it's going to be something that none of us are really thinking about, because Hearthstone was kind of like that, right? We knew that they were working on a mobile game. We didn't really know much about it. And then Hearthstone was like this new idea, right? And I'm hoping for that with the Warcraft mobile game, that it's some new idea no one's really thinking about right now, and it'll just kind of wow people, because Hearthstone ended up with a really good community and a good crowd. I myself always preferred Magic the Gathering, so I played Hearthstone, but I was never really too into it because Magic always, like, in my mind, conquered it all, right? But I think we're due for another game that's different, it's new, and yeah, even although it's on mobile. But if we've learned anything from Diablo Immortal, we've learned, and Hearthstone, we've learned that they can always port it to PC, because Hearthstone's a mobile game that's on PC. Immortal will be a mobile game that will also be on PC. So I think we can at least go in it with hopes that this game could potentially be ported on the PC. So yeah, I think that's where they really strive, is to have it on both places. And honestly, I think that's what's gonna make Diablo Immortal maybe be decent, because the Diablo games, they are good. They're like my second favorite games to play. And with the proper amount of maintenance, I think they could do really good with that one. And yeah. And then with Hearthstone, they did really good, especially doing some like cross promotions through it. And yeah, so I'm curious to see. I'm not really a mobile game player. I have like maybe 2 games that I play on mobile, and I think I play them like 3 times a year. If that. And yeah, I'm more the I'll play it if it gets ported to PC type player, but I am still interested in knowing what it would be. Yeah. And I'm going to end this off with something having to do with Diablo Immortal, speaking of mobile games. But this one is being ported to the PC, so for those that didn't hear that that was happening, and you were maybe interested and then were like, ugh, phone, yeah, it is being ported to the PC. Okay, so here's some cosmetic armor sets. I thought these were really good, so I wanted to add it into today's video. So this cosmetic set is the same for all the classes. This set is called the Ghosts of Ashwold, and this is it on a barbarian, crusader, wizard, demon hunter, monk, and the necromancer. So yeah, I think that set is really nice. I definitely think I'm liking the barbarian the best when it comes to that set. The weapons look just so cool. So as for accomplishments, I did loot the Chufa's toy, which is cute when you use it. There's like rabbits and other soul shapes that kind of appear in a circle around you. Here's a picture, screenshot of what it looks like when you use it. I also got my rep to Revered in Zereth Mortis, so the rep for the Enlightened. And so that unlocked a bunch of cool stuff for me. So I bought the Anointed Protostag Reigns, which is 5,000 anima, so super easy to get your hands on. And getting that rep also unlocked the ability for me to buy the Memory of Unity. So I bought it and I held onto it pretty much all week while I decided what I wanted to do, which piece I wanted to use. So I went and crafted the second legendary that is 291. Before I had my one legendary at 291 and then the belt at 265, I think it is. So now I'm holding on to 2 legendaries that are 291. And there was actually also another Zereth Mortis accomplishment I did. You actually saw it in the footage of today's video, but I did complete the what's it called, the cipher board, like all those rows. Yeah, I completed that, got the achievement for that one. So that's cool. Now I can start working on spending on the vendor that's just outside, the one that you bought the item that allows you to collect more ciphers. Yeah, I want to get the toy, and there's some soul shapes on there, and they are kind of pricey. The soul shapes are like 1,000. And then the last accomplishment I did was my paladin. I decided to start going back to leveling her. It's taken me so much motivation to like level this paladin. Yeah, I don't know why. She's cute and everything, so I don't know why it's taken me so much. But she was level 33 when I logged on to her. She's now level 40. The plan was to focus her a lot this week and get her to 50 so that she could be the mount farmer for Infinite Time Reaver for when Tuesday rolls around. And I don't know if we're gonna make it. I still need 10 levels, and it's Sunday right now. Sundays are usually like a complete wipe when it comes to progression because I spend them editing videos. So no real WoW happens on Sundays for me. I could level her tomorrow. I just don't know if I could get 10 levels in one day, or one night. But nonetheless, she's close. There will be another time walking coming up, and I'm thinking that's probably the route we'll go. I'll probably just pick someone else, and yeah. I don't want to be leveling her during time walking because, like I said in the beginning, this is the one I've been waiting for because I want to go into the raid, which I'm probably just gonna bring my main in. She's the geared character, I'll bring her into the Black Temple raid and get the achievement. If it wasn't a week where I want to enter the time walking raid, then I probably would level her, but I don't know how that raid's gonna go. I always expect the worst when it comes to, time walking raid experience because, especially Black Temple. Black Temple's long, and yeah, I've done it a couple of times, and usually people leave halfway through. For this time, I'm gonna try to find a committed group. A group that is legit going in for pretty much the same reason as me. That is my accomplishments for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a great week in WoW. Good luck on Infinite Time Raver if you're farming that. And we'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.